Hi, John Venuti here for Zen-Tek Coating, and today we're going to do some demonstrations of how to mix our Primix epoxy primer system, which is a super high build, along with our Synergy 4-hour dry system. So let's get started. So today we're going to be spraying a bathtub, and the first thing we want to start with is how to adjust your spray gun. In this particular example, I have a Graco Edge gun with the Artisan air control on it, and so let's show you how to adjust this gun to spray the Synergy and the Primix systems. Okay, in order to spray the Primix primer system, what we first want to do is take a look at the Edge 2 air cap here. Now this is fully turned and closed down. As you can see, that's going to give us a wide fan pattern. So if we're spraying 8 inches from the surface, we're going to get probably right here about an 8-inch fan pattern. So what we want to do is slightly turn that just a half a turn open so that it's basically flush with the front of your air cap. Then on the other side, we want to take a look at the air control, the Artisan. We want to keep that air control up at least 90% open, if not 100% open, generally speaking. And on the fluid flow for the Primix system, we want to actually open up that fluid flow on that high build epoxy primer. We want that pretty much at the 6 or 7 level. So basically 90 to 100% open when spraying the epoxy primer. When spraying the Synergy system though, we're going to dial that back on the first coat. We're going to keep it somewhere around 5.5. And on the second coat, we're going to open that up a little bit more until about the 6.5 range. We're going to be doing a demonstration on how to properly mix the Primix high build epoxy primer system. And so we're going to start by thoroughly first shaking the Primix Part A resin, and you want to shake this for at least 30 seconds. After, we're going to start with the Part A. To do a standard size bathtub, which we're going to show you this pink one, we're going to do this as a 1-coat primer system. So we're going to build it on very heavy. The Primix is capable of coating everything in 1 coat. You don't even need to do a 2-coat system like the traditional epoxy coatings. So for a 1-coat system, we're going to start out with approximately 6 ounces of resin. So we're going to take our PPS cup liner right here. Going to pop that liner in there, and then we're going to add approximately 6 ounces to 8 ounces of epoxy resin. Now, if you have a really bad or pitted tub, you're going to want to be on the 8-ounce side. But for a standard tub, 5 to 6 ounces of each component is fine, as it's a 1-to-1-to-1 mix. Okay, we're back now. Now we're going to mix Part B, the catalyst for the Primix. Everything is color coordinated, and you can definitely see the difference between Part A and Part B. Okay, so we just got done finishing up the shaking on the Part B. And this is another new container, so we're going to open that. Our products here at Zen-Tek are foiled sealed, thermatically sealed. They're date coated and batch coated as well, so you're always getting fresh product. So we're going to pour another 6 to 8 ounces of resin depending on the situation. In this case, we're doing 6 resin and 6 catalyst. It's a standard pink tub that we're going to be doing, and that should be enough to cover completely. Okay, so now we're back. So I'm going to take my stir stick and we're going to mix Part A and Part B here. And if we can get a top angle view on this, there's no reducer yet in here. We want to mix this for approximately 30 seconds until we start seeing the top coat mixture kind of change color and get a little bit whiter. Okay, we're back. This is the Primix system. We've mixed it now for around 45 seconds, and you can see how the consistency, how thick it is. So we look for this dropping coming off the stir stick. Gives you a good idea of what that mixture should look like at roughly 70 degrees temperature. And next, we're going to add the reducer. Okay, we're back again. So now we're going to add the reducer to the Primix system. So we started with 6 ounces of resin and 6 ounces of catalyst, and we're going to add another 6 ounces of reducer to this mix. And then we're going to see how well that goes. And we want to give that about 30 seconds of mixing. And as we start to mix it, we're going to start seeing the resin solids start breaking into smaller pieces as they get into a very nice mixture. It's a very highly refined system here. So as we keep adding the solvents, it will break down. And we're just going to take a little check here and see what the viscosity is after we've been mixing this for a little bit. Okay, so let's do a viscosity check. We should be pretty close to where we want to be. So we're looking for that 1 drip per second. So that's a pretty good consistency. A little on the thick side, which is really good if you want to do high hiding. But if you want to do a little bit thinner, we're just going to put a tad a bit more. The product is very acclimated, so you can actually go as far as, instead of a 1 to 1 to 1, you could actually push it as far as 1 to 1 to 1.5, depending on how thick or thin that you want it for your particular job. You know, if you're doing wall tile, you probably want to keep it a little bit on the thinner side. If you've got a heavily pitted bathtub, you want it on the thinner side so it'll fill in all those pit marks. If your tub's in great condition though, you're just going for hiding and build, you can keep it a little bit on the thicker side. So we're going to stir for 30 seconds more and look for that drop. See that 1 second? That's a pretty good, that tells you you're right there in the ballpark. So that's where you want to be, 1 drop per second at the end of that flow. And now we're ready to spray our tub. I'm going to be shooting the Primix primer, and the technique that I use for doing a bathtub, I'm going to break the tub into different sections. And so what I normally will do is I will spray the corners with a horizontal fan pattern, going from bottom to top or top to bottom. It really doesn't make a difference. The key point is horizontal fan pattern, hit the corners in the back side. Then I'll go to the other 2 corners and do that whole front section here. Again, top to bottom so the corners are tied in. Then I'll turn my fan pattern to vertical. I'm going to go all the way around, get that section, the back section, the front section. I'll work my way down, but I'm not going to use a U pattern. I think it's too difficult to keep a consistent pattern. So I'm going to do a very straight pattern, and on the bottom I'm going to go back and forth, and I'll work my way back up to the top, across the front edge, top of the apron, and then the front of the apron. So I break it into different sections. I tack the tub. And this way it prevents runs and sags, particularly in the radiuses around the tub. Let's see how it turns out. We're done with our first coat, and really our only coat of the Primix system. So we literally sprayed a total of over 18 ounces of primer, got complete coverage on this pink tub with 1 coat. That's the advantage of our high build system. I broke the tub into different sections, as you can see. We're just going to wait now our 6 to 8 minutes flash time. As it dries, it's going to turn to a satin finish, and then we know we're ready for our next coat. Like I said, usually between 6 and 8 minutes, and you're ready to go into the top coat system. We'll see you back then. And now we're going to be doing the Synergy 4-hour dry top coat system, also currently available in a 2-hour dry and a 24-hour dry in multiple sheens from satin to semi-gloss to high gloss. We also do custom colors. But let's get into shooting this tub. We left off with the pink tub. We're going to do a mixture of 14 ounces of resin, 7 ounces of catalyst, and about 2 ounces of reducer, which is all that's necessary. That will allow us to spray 2 coats and get the same amount of material that most products require you to do in 3 coats, because we don't have to over-reduce the Zen-Tek Synergy system. Let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start mixing the top coat system. I always start with the catalyst first, so I see how much is in the cup. So we gave the Synergy system just a quick shake. That's all that's required, is about 5 seconds on the catalyst system. Of course, it's hermetically sealed. So we're going to break the seal on a brand new one. Pull off of the lid. And we got our measuring cup here, and we're going to measure out about 7 ounces of resin into the cup. And then we're going to get our Synergy 4-hour dry. And we're going to give this a quick shake, about 10 seconds, because we've already used this resin before. That's sufficient. And let's do the rest of this. Okay. So we got that. And now we're just going to give it a quick mix. And we're going to wet in the two components. And as you see, they'll start changing color a little bit. Yeah, you see how it's mixing in? So we'll just give it a mixing around 30 seconds or so, and we'll come back and see what it looks like. Okay, I'm back now, so we mixed it for about 30 seconds. You can see the viscosity is already starting to thin. One of the magical things about the Synergy system. So it's already got a good viscosity. So we started with a mixture of approximately 14 resin and 7 catalyst, and we're just going to put a couple ounces of reducer in it, and then we're going to see where this goes. Now, reduction changes by temperature, of course. The warmer it is, typically the less you put. The colder it is, the more you put. And you can also change reducer speeds. You can also, if you needed to, you can use even straight acetone with our system. So let's just mix it for about 30 seconds and see what it is. What's critical is that you do need to put reducer into the system as a drying agent. So that is unquestionable. So, you know, on a mixture of 14, 7, and 2, that's about a 10% reduction. So we're going to sit here and look for the 1 second drop off the stick, and we're right there. That's a pretty good mix right now. So we'll just do it one more time here. And this is a mix and shoot system, just to make sure all the resin solids have gotten wetted in. So one more time, look for the steady stream to drop and then count the seconds. There you go, and that's all you need. Now we're ready to spray. I got the gun ready to go. I got my mixture, my Synergy in here. We got a nice full mixture in here. 14 resin, 7 catalyst, and we got about 2 ounces of reducer, okay? So again, we're gonna make sure that this fan pattern, this is all the way open, where your needle set's sticking out a bit. We're just gonna turn that back to where it's flush. It's basically about a quarter turn, so you want that flush. That's gonna give you like an 8-inch fan pattern on the wall. Then we're going to go back to the air, which this is fully open. We're going to keep it there. That's where we want that. And on the fluids flow, that's maximum. We're just going to keep it right around 6.5. And I'm going to spray both coats at basically about 90% open. And this was with a Graco number 3 tip, which is a 1.3 millimeter. And that's pretty good outflow. And we're going to put 2 medium wet coats on this tub. Got done printing on the Primix primer epoxy system here. And as you can see, it's been about 8 minutes. The finish now is turned to a satin, and it's actually dry to the touch. So we're ready to go, and we've put on enough material that most products would require 2 coats. We've done it all in 1 coat. Again, using my method, doing the corners first. I'm going to put on the second coat now. We waited about 8 minutes, so I'm ready to go into the second coat. And after that, we'll be done. As you can see, the tub looks fantastic. You would almost think it's really done at this point. But we still got to put on the second coat in order to build to that 3 to 3.5 mils DFT of film thickness. So we're going to attack this tub right now, and after that, we'll do some caulking and show you how that works. Okay, so now we're done with our spraying. We've waited about 25 minutes now. We're ready to caulk it. The Synergy sets up pretty quick, so we pulled the tape after our first 8 minutes off the wall. Let it sit up another 15 minutes, and now I'm ready to do my caulking. Okay, so we're going to caulk this.